Macabre Melody is I think of it as the beast on the And So We Fall record. I always thought that the word macabre was a cool one because even though it means gruesome, it just maybe it's because of its French roots, you know what I mean, in for English speakers, but it's a word that doesn't fully express what it really means. It's softer. Well, there's something kind of melodic and beautiful about the word that softens up what those images that something gruesome had.
So there's a dark element to it that I can definitely resonate with. What we get from it is to express all the darkness and to express the frustration, the anger, the bad things that happen to you, the hurt, the pain, the sorrow, the bad negative elements of our life, and we are able to release a lot of that through the music. I just don't want to hear no happy shit.
I think it's kind of serendipity that we started the album with that because of the needle drop. Although we didn't initially think that was going to happen, there was no necessary order. But I really like the way the intro to that works. So we started. Greg had some source material, some French composer, 17th century French composer.
But I remember this piece. It's a very famous piece. A lot of people do ballet when they're younger to this piece, and it's really popular. So for fun, I was like, "Hey Neil, look at this piece. It has the same name. Isn't that cool?" And he's like, "Let's use that." I'm like, no, you can't use that because the copyright for that track is you can't use it. And he's like, well, then we'll do it ourselves. All right.
I think we had an idea of the sound. We had listened to some samples and had an idea that we wanted something that was going to be kind of biggish and wet as opposed to really kind of dry and compact. We were trying to fill up the frequencies. And I think the vocals in Macabre Melody really help with that. There's a section where Neil is doing a harmony that then we're doing a kind of a little fade in on, which gives the vocals a real richness, I think.
The lyrics were a challenge because I had something I knew I wanted to talk about, and I had some metaphors that were interesting, but I couldn't find a way to blend those ideas together to say the things that I wanted to say in it. And so I toiled with those lyrics for 6 months. Then I had this idea of this person who's done all these horrible things in this room and stuff, and there's blood everywhere and whatever. And in his head, he's hearing classical music. And to him, it's a painting, and that kind of disturbed level of thought.
Go ahead. Dance for me! Alright. A little bit louder.
Steve.
Dance for me!
Boom.
Yeah.
Okay. Say it first, then swing. Okay. And it's like, well, why don't we run with that idea? Let's take this idea of a musical metaphor, applying it to something very dark.
So I wanted to make sure that every interval had some hint of darkness, and the most dark relationship note-wise is that tritone, that devil's note. And so I wanted to make sure that was in it as much as possible.
So I was talking with a colleague of mine. I teach at one of the local colleges. I'm a professor of theater, and he's our guitar instructor there, guitar professor. And I was playing him some of the tracks, and he said, "That sounds great. You really quantize the guitars nicely," which is a way of going in and aligning the notes to be very tight. And we didn't quantize any guitars in this, and that was the process of just Greg and I being very methodical about the parts being done. So we broke the songs up into sections.
When I went in for the Macabre solo, I had an idea, structure, but it wasn't until I came up to a block when I had the first half done. It was good, and I was just honing in on that first half, but the second half, you could tell I was just trying to get to the end.
Greg incorporated that musical theme from the beginning into his solo towards the end. was just a really smart move on his part. Since we were already talking about bringing in guest artists to solo on the thing, we thought, well, why don't we bring Seth in to do this? Because this particular type of solo is going to fit Seth really well.
But the style matched the Macabre tone in that 19th century romantic sort of feel, the bends, the progressions, the chromaticism in his solo. It was only because of Seth's style that turned out the way it did, and it wouldn't have come out the same with anybody else, even me.
I knew that the song was going to work when I wrote the chorus. When I nailed those lyrics of the chorus, I knew the song was going to work. And I was really proud the day that I wrote those 4 lines. I was stoked. I hadn't even written the verses yet, but I knew the idea was going to work when I came up with that.